Thanksgiving is one of the top holidays in the U.S., known for a trademark feast full of amazing foods, and traditionally headed up by a big turkey. But when and why did turkeys become the main course on Thanksgiving? Let's find out on today's episode of
Colossal Question.
There is historical evidence of a feast shared between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people in 1621, an event which has come to be known as the First Thanksgiving. But it wasn't the kind of Thanksgiving feast we might imagine today. There was no mashed potatoes, stuffing, or sweet pies for dessert. And maybe most shocking of all, there might not have been any turkey either. Turkeys were native to the area and a common source of food at the time, but we know the Wampanoag brought deer and the Pilgrims brought wild fowl, which could have been turkey, but may have been duck, goose, or swan. And the poultry options weren't the only thing different about the first Thanksgiving menu. Seafood was aplenty and probably on the menu. Mussels, oysters, lobsters, bass, and clams were all over the New England shores, as were fruits and vegetables like onions, peas, cabbage, blueberries, gooseberries, raspberries, grapes, plums, and raw cranberries. Not exactly the massive feast we think of today. In fact, the Pilgrims hadn't even built themselves an oven for baking, so there were no baked goods of any kind. And not only was the menu quite different, but the event itself wasn't as big of a deal at the time as we make it out to be today. For the Pilgrims, large autumn harvest feasts were nothing new. Europeans had been holding harvest festivals since the ancient times, so holding a special day of Thanksgiving was pretty common for the New England colonists. So, when did Thanksgiving go from a run-of-the-mill celebration to a major modern American holiday known mostly for a big turkey feast? Well, no one can say exactly when the turkey officially became the main course on the Thanksgiving menu, but many point to a writer and activist named Sarah Josepha Hale. She's considered by many to be the person most responsible for making Thanksgiving a national holiday in the U.S., and for making the turkey a mainstay of the menu. Why turkey as opposed to other wildfowl? Well, by the early 1800s, turkey had become a staple food to serve for feasts. They were super common, super easy to hunt, and big enough to feed a full family. In 1846, Hale began to publicly push to make Thanksgiving an official national holiday. It would take her 17 years of lobbying 5 different presidents before Abraham Lincoln was finally convinced. He supported her push and was able to establish Thanksgiving as an American national holiday in 1863. This was a pretty big deal. At the time, there were only 2 national holidays in the U.S., Washington's birthday and Independence Day. As Thanksgiving became an organized holiday, a mythology started to form around it. Suddenly, the Pilgrims' feast with the Wampanoag was known as the First Thanksgiving and treated like a monumental event. Over time, the connection between Pilgrims, turkeys, and Thanksgiving became so intertwined that it's hard to imagine one without the other. So, this Thanksgiving, enjoy a plate full of whatever Thanksgiving foods you like the best. And be glad our bounty is a bit more impressive than the first time around.